At WrestleMania 24, Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels faced off in an amazing matchup that ended with Ric Flair hanging up his tights. For this year's final release in the line from a year of below par defining moment figures, this Ric Flair toy is what customers and wrestlers deserve from such a line. It feels worth the money you pay and looks pretty shway, so let's check it out. There's some disappointing things about the figure, and the first is the packaging. It's pretty much just a reuse of the previous Ric Flair Defining Moments figures packaging, just with updated images to reflect WrestleMania 24 and a different bio. Also, for some reason, Mattel thought it would be wise to use plastic TN tag pins to hold the figure and robe in the packaging. If you're like me, you'll go and try to rip out the figure, but don't just go and rip it out. Don't do that. You'll end up ripping the entrance robe. Take some time, get some scissors, cut those things off. Also, another problematic element of these pins is that they create a small hole in the 4 points where they are attached. It is not directly noticeable, but it may be bothersome to some. Let's talk sculpt. Face-wise, I definitely see an older Ric Flair here. This is one of Mattel's strongest sculpts in recent memory. Unfortunately, they dropped the ball when deciding what torso to use. Mattel doesn't really have an old man bod sculpt, so they decided to go with a mold with a six-pack. It's a bad choice that I know will always be covered with his robe in my display. Let's have a discussion in the chat. Which already-made Mattel sculpt do you think would work better than this? Mattel are known for making some amazing clothes in their Barbie line, so I'm very happy to see it crossing over with WWE. This robe is quite the achievement for Mattel. It's something I never expected to see in this day and age where Mattel are cutting costs and charging more for less. It makes sense why we got such disappointments like the previous John Cena, The Sting, and Ultimate Warrior. They were building up to this. This robe rocks, and they really nailed the look. The level of detail is higher than usual, and you can tell that someone had a great deal of fun creating it. I've personally been very critical of the Defining Moments line in the past. I tend to see it as a cash grab line where Mattel charges more, preying on nostalgia and giving wrestling fans new wrestlers they didn't have before but at a higher price. The line has been going downhill extremely fast, but I can see this being a rebirth. I know that the upcoming Defining Moments releases will not have this level of detail, but it's nice to see that Mattel can still give consumers something worth their money. There are a bunch of errors with the packaging and sculpt on this figure, but it's overall one of the best Mattel figures of this year. You'd be silly not to pick it up if you're a WWE fan. And if you're a fan of this video review, I'd recommend you give this a solid big thumbs up. See ya. Out.